I've never seen so many of you in a hall before. And these guys are going to be totally blown away by that. Please show your appreciation on the stage. The legends that are Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy. Steady.
How's one of those? Slippery seats.
God, he's wearing Crocs.
Because we're a couple of old Crocs, that's why really. Yeah. Mike, you're very colourful ones. Mine are posh.
In case you didn't know, this is actually a half an hour talk about Crocs. Nothing to do with Doctor at all.
Yes, they send us loads of
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. No, we're both up.
So, how are you both?
Well, he's fine.
And I'm fine as well.
Well, that was easy. Yes.
Let's answer each other's questions all afternoon.
Yes. What questions will you want me to answer?
What do I think of you?
I can't swear in front of people.
Go on, you're in charge.
Well, when you two get together, no one's in charge, are they, except you two? So, obviously there's quite a few people here.
That's amazing. Is this in any way related to a certain TV program
That we weren't
recently?
allowed to talk about for a year.
It was 12 months.
It's a miracle I kept it quiet because I'm such a blabbermouth.
I forgot.
Yes, yeah.
I completely forgot.
I think that's why I never told anyone. I think it-
I was quite upset.
I was surprised when I watched it and I was in it.
I mean, usually at these events there's about 40 people out there.
Yeah.
And now they've remembered us still.
Yes.
We are remembered.
Yes. Who are you? I can't remember.
You are who?
Am I?
Who am I?
I've no idea who.
So, how did it come about then? How
Well,
did you
there's
get
some
to it?
people around there can't see a thing. I'm going around the corner. Goodbye.
How did it all come about? What was, how kind of that initial phone call or email or whatever, and to get back involved? And
How did it happen?
Yeah, how did it happen?
I think, did I phone you up and say, how much are you going to charge? That's what we always do when we get a double job.
Oh, I think it's more likely to have been, how much have they offered you?
No.
20 quid.
That's how much you got?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Robbery.
No, I have to pay them.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's understandable.
It was the usual way for me. My agent rang me up and said, you've been offered. I said, don't be silly. And they have.
Yeah. And what was wonderful was we went down to Cardiff to do it a year ago, and there was only 3 of us there. There was David, Colin, and myself, and we had to keep it very quiet. So they put us up in a hotel out in Cardiff, and we'd had a photograph taken with the barman, and he put it online, and then suddenly people go, why are those 3 down in Cardiff? And we had to think up all sorts of lies to get, we were lying. We weren't there because of Doctor Who. Yes, we were. We were doing Blu-ray, weren't we? Was that the one?
I can't remember what we said, but actors are liars. That's our job.
We get paid for lying.
We're paid for lying, so we're very good at it. When people ask me if I've been asked to be in it, or it depends what question they ask. If they said, are you doing the whatever it's called?
Doctor Who, I think.
Doctor Who. Are you doing the regeneration? I go, no. BBC.
Well, that was true. That wasn't a lie. You never did the regeneration.
No, I've never done one.
Yes.
Never intend to. But I've just constructed a lot of anger at the BBC. I think it's disgraceful the way they're treating it. And people believe that, you see.
All right.
So I was going, no, I'm a good actor. That would be, no, I haven't been asked, no. That would give it away. But I hate the BBC, they're not employing me. that's believable.
It's sad. Very sad.
Do you think this, I mean, this came about because of like, you know, people involved, the fans of the show, or because the fans kind of, you know, the complaints that were made after the 50th really, that you weren't really involved in? I mean, I know you did the 5 instructors, but it wasn't official, was it?
No, by no means. I think with those things that there comes a time when it seems a good idea to the people whose job it is to have good ideas. And any sooner might have been the wrong time. But I think that was the right time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When everybody had given up.
Yeah.
Because the reaction I've had from most of you who are kind enough to mention it, there's things like, I was in tears when I saw you guys back in the programme. Whereas 20 years ago, that might not have been the case.
Have you seen my return? Everybody's in tears every time I come on. Oh my God, he's back.
No, you're very good.
Oh, thank you.
So you are. I learned everything I know about acting from you.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow, no wonder you haven't worked for a while. He's just come off the stage. How many shows have you done? How many days? 20 days? Or?
Well, today's my first day off.
Yeah.
In 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I came here.
Yeah.
For a nice relaxing day. I've been playing Sherlock Holmes on stage, on tour, one-nighters around the country. And we finished on Sunday in Paignton. So if any of you are going down to Devon, come and see us tomorrow night.
Because he wants to live.
Go lift.
And Sylvester, what was it like working on screen with Sophie again? I mean, obviously you see each other all the time, but actually as those characters.
Well, in a way, it was great. It was really great. But I wasn't really supposed to be working with Sophie because she had already done that scene in a cave somewhere in Wales months or weeks before. But luckily and nicely, she came along and stood in where she would be. She was off camera, you know. And so she's the one that did the best acting because I wasn't there. Whereas I could look into her eyes and act, you know, and see her. So that was really good. What are you laughing at?
Well, this is the honesty in which you say her acting was good because I wasn't there.
Yes. No, I remember thinking this is a big help. She should have done this more often when we were working together.
Right, so I'm sure there must be people out there that have got questions for the two of them. So if you have, stick your hand in the air. Yep. Just pick someone. Yep.
Having seen all the adventures that your doctors have done this year, any hints to where you're going to put your respective doctors next year?
Soundhouse, where we record it. Because I have no idea. The script arrives, I mark it up, I go in and do it and forget all about it again. Because it's not like doing the television where you become very intimate with it. So I've no idea where it's going. Do you know where?
I said, you know where it's going, you know, the audio's next year. That was your question, wasn't
Oh
it?
yes, I know where they're going. They're going into your houses from Big Finish. I'm doing one next Thursday. I don't think I'm supposed to talk about it, but I'm doing one next Thursday. And the joy for me is that my daughter is going to be in it. There's another dynasty of actors. My daughter Rosie has done 3 or 4 Big Finishes with other people. But she's doing one with me. I haven't seen the script yet. But I'm going to be at home in my studio, and she'll be at the studio in London at the Soundhouse. Because the last thing she would want is me going,
Or looking critical.
I'll tell you a story about, I've got 4 daughters. And we had, my wife's sister sadly died, and my daughter was asked to do a speech at the funeral. And I was sitting there, obviously, and my daughter started, and she was reading it too fast, in my opinion. And I thought, slow down. But apparently I didn't just think it. I said it quite loudly. and I have never been allowed to forget it from my entire family, not to mention the congregation, that I was giving acting notes at a funeral, which is an appalling thing to have done. So it's just, well, I won't be with her. There's a different daughter, it's Rosie this time. Which,
I'll tell her to slow down.
Okay, next question. Where is she going? Okay. It's hiding between the
oh,
two.
hello.
What was it like, you know, how did you get into acting on the BBC? What led you to down that path?
Well, your story's more interesting than mine.
All right. Well, I was working in the City of London just as the 60s, about 64, 65, and the swinging 60s arrived. And I hated working in the City of London. And so there was once an excuse, you could become a hippie and drop out. So I became a hippie and dropped out. I was living in a bedsit in Belsize Park, and my next door neighbour, she was a chef at the Roundhouse Theatre, and she was a hippie who could cook. And she said to me, they need someone from the box office. They need a hippie who can count. And I fitted the bill. So I ended up working in the box office. And then one day, Brian Murphy of George and Mildred and Man About the House and various other things, a wonderful old actor, his wife was assistant administrator there. So he used to hang out when he wasn't working, and we used to loon around. And another night, a guy came in called Ken Campbell. He said, "Here, Brian, some bleeper has let me down. I've got this mad show. Do you know anybody, any mad young actor?" And Brian said, "That's the guy in the box office. He's out of his head." And so he came up and Ken said, "Here, do you want to join my show?" And I said, "Yes." And that was it. I became an actor.
And ruined the lives of many ferrets.
Oh, I was going to say, of many a fair lady, but it was a ferret.
Many ferrets.
Yes. No, they never ruined my life. I used to put ferrets down my trousers.
Have you got any there now?
No. I'm trying to break the world record for having ferrets down my trousers.
And my story starts when I was in the audience at the Palace Theatre of Manchester, watching an amateur production of The King and I, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I was with my mother, and at the end, the curtain came down, and I sat there saying, "I'd love to do something like that." And the man sitting in front of me turned round and said, "Well, young man, I am the chairman of the North Manchester Amateur Operatic and Dramatic Society. Why don't you come along next Friday to the Mostyn Memorial Hall?" And there were lots and lots of girls there.
Oh, yeah.
It was amateur drama.
Yeah.
There was only 2 or 3 blokes, so I thought, this is fun. So I did some amateur plays, and then I decided I was studying law allegedly, which, I don't know, we seem to act for rich people in order to squash more poor people. And I didn't like being a lawyer. So I decided to have a go at auditioning for drama school. But if that man had not turned around that night, I'd never have had the courage to get up on the stage.
Brilliant.
That's how I started.
Hey, bag up, lad, that went round. Hey, up, lad, that went round. Excellent.
Next question.
The gentleman right at the back there with his hand up.
Right behind you. That's it.
Get from there.
Hello. Thank you, Mr. Baker, for noticing me. You once called me a bastard because I'm just slightly taller than you. I'm not sure if you still feel the same.
That is a qualification for that name.
I'll call you a big bastard because you're not.
I've got it from 2 doctors now. Mr. Baker, were you disappointed at all to be the only doctor in this recent special not to don your famous costume once again?
Was I? Was I the only doctor not to don my costume?
Peter and I did, but we were the only 2.
And Paul McGann,
Was he in costume?
incarnation, insisted on wearing his outfit and not the robes.
I was always one of them.
Oh, did he? Did he?
Yeah,
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. And you wore your costume?
I did. Yeah, eventually.
But not when I was doing it.
No, we were all dressed very elegantly when we did it.
No, I'm not disappointed in the slightest. Because I think my costume was rather silly, quite frankly. And I wouldn't want to upstage the incumbent doctor with the glory of my silly costume. Who would have been looking at her if I was wearing that? And she deserves to be looked at. I was looking at her.
I never stopped looking at her. I never thought I would ever grow up to fall in love with a doctor.
Me too.
Yes, she's delightful, I love her. She'll be here tomorrow.
Shiver, my love.
Yeah, just pick some.
There's a man with an umbrella. What's the...
Oh, dear.
Sylvester, can you still recreate the spoon sequence? The spoon.
You want the spoons?
Oh, heavens.
I haven't got any.
He's going to do it on my head and my ears and my nose.
I'm going to play Colin instead.
Yes.
Hello, Colin. Hello, Sylvester. You are incredible, and we all love you. And oh my God, you're amazing. You two are amazing. My question is, sorry, just out of
Well, just go on about us being amazing.
no, you're amazing. Wait, amazing. You, right,
How amazing are we?
like nine, massive nine.
9?
9.
Who's 10?
Paul's 10. Sorry. You guys are brilliant. I love you. Please, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No, sorry.
He's not asking a question now, is he?
Okay.
You're getting no answer from us.
Can I still ask the question now? Out of all the moments you've had on the show, from either work at Big Finish or actually recording, what has been the most memorable and most favourite?
You answer him.
I could hear him.
Of all the moments you've ever done in a Doctor Who Big Finish and got it on the screen, what's been your favourite moment? Most memorable?
I was in Cleveland, in America, in an old cinema, and I came up onto the stage, and I had this, on the other side, was a kind of, couldn't quite see him, a taller person than I, and he came slowly onto the stage saying, I am the doctor, I am the doctor. And then I came onto the other side of the stage saying, I am the doctor, I am the doctor. And that's when we actually transformed properly. You handed over to me, do you remember that?
No.
Right. Anyway, yeah.
I do that for you.
Yeah, you did. It must have changed since, I don't know what.
Was alcohol involved?
Well, it was with me, no, I about you.
No, that's rather charming.
It was a memorable time. The audience loved it.
If I'm going to be absolutely honest, the times that have been most memorable to me have been related to you lot. The amount of people who have come up to me and said, when your doctor was on television, I was having a bad time in my life. I was struggling. I was struggling at school, struggling in university. And they said, watching you every week helped me to get through. Now it sounds like, the sentimental talk, but to have that effect on one person is worth doing it. And the amount of people who said, I'm sure they'll say it to you as well.
Yes.
It's kind of heartwarming because it's 40 odd years later. People are still thanking me for something I had no idea. I was helping them. I thought I was earning a living and having a bit of fun. But to know that we've been part of a thing like the thing that you all love and we all love here, and that it's had that effect on so many lives, it makes it all worthwhile.
Today, a doctor came up to me and knelt down and said, because of you, Doctor Who, I became a doctor. And it's the same for all of us. We get that. I was in San
Was it Matt
Francisco.
Smith?
Yes, it was Matt Smith.
Sorry.
No, my name's Ken Smith. Anyway, yeah, no, it is really touching. And, all over the world, it's been happening. When I go, people have said those things, and just astonishing, really. I just thought, my job was to learn the lines and try and bump into the monsters. I didn't know that there was another thing going on. So it's very touching.
So thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Obviously, like things like this have grown, and comic cons and appearances and stuff. But when you first got involved with Doctor Who, there was still that kind of fandom and appearances. Did you even think that you would be still doing it kind of this amount of time later?
No, not really. I mean, I got the job on a Monday, and I was flown to Atlanta, Georgia on a Thursday, having no idea what I was supposed to be doing. I'd never really knew about conventions, except in a Laurel and Hardy film called Wait, which was when they all ran off and went to a convention, a silly convention with silly hats. And here I am at a silly convention with silly hats. So I'm very happy I ended up in a Laurel and Hardy movie.
No, the one thing that I was taken upstairs after John had offered me the part, John Nathan Turner, to meet the head of series and serials. And the only thing he said to me is, you are aware of the world that you are entering and the convention circuit, and it's going to be with you forever. And I'd been told about it, yes. And like you, 3 days later, I was flying to Miami, where I was received like a demigod without having done a thing. Nothing, other than say, yes, I'll do it.
Yeah.
If you told me then that in 2022 I would be sitting with the actor who followed me and we'd be talking to a room this size full of people about that, I would have been surprised, I think.
Yeah.
It's very pleased, but yeah, surprised. But to be honest, I never really thought about it. I just did it.
Yeah, that side of it, didn't really think about the convention side of it in those days. And then it just came bigger and bigger. And I love to travel, so thank you, fans from all over the world, for inviting me to all over the world. It's been great. I look forward to the first one on the moon. Soon.
And I like to stay at home, so thank you for making me go all over the place.
Okay, next question. Where are that going? We're over here.
On the front row.
I think we're over here.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Is it?
Hello there.
A little girl on the front row. Oh.
Hello. Since you've mentioned Big Finish, they've been doing the Lost Stories, which were the seasons they didn't do when you were the Doctors. Any of those would you like to have made into an episode and something?
What was that? We were all in it together.
Ones that were written for our Doctors but never done.
All right.
And I recorded a few for Big Finish.
I did one that was written that you never did. It was my first story.
We're talking about Big Finish.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, all of them. Actually, can't remember any of them because it happened so quickly. It's very difficult to remember them when you do them.
I would like to have done the Nightmare Fair, which was the first one that didn't happen, if you like, which would have been with the Celestial Toy Maker in Blackpool, because we did that on audio years later, and it was a fun story. And the idea of doing it in a fun fair at Blackpool was very appealing. So I would have liked to have done that, yes.
Okay, was there one at the front here?
Little girl on the front.
The front row, with the purple trousers.
Sorry, we've got a little girl.
What was it like when Jodie Whittaker regenerated?
Wonderful. What was it like when Jodie regenerated? I mean, into her or out of her?
The one we did.
Oh, the one we did.
That was her regeneration.
All right, yes, because there was another one she arrived. That was a regeneration.
Yeah. But we weren't in that.
No. Were we in this one? Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, okay. I know nothing. No, I was...
What was it like? I'll tell you.
Scary.
We don't know. Because we only did that bit you saw us. I haven't actually seen the regeneration yet. Because I was out of the country when it was shown. And I haven't got around to watching it yet, sorry. It was lovely working with her, because she's very good and very generous and friendly. But the actual moment of regeneration, I don't know about.
But it was very similar to another one, wasn't it? An earlier one, I think, where you put the hands up and all these flames come out. Oh, I remember seeing that one before, another one. What other one was like that? David Tennant one? Matt Smith, yeah. So it was very similar.
He's coming back.
Oh, David, yes. As a different doctor, I think.
So is that called a degeneration? It's degenerated.
We just don't know yet, do we? Is it who got the old doctor or a fake doctor? Who knows?
But they've got a lovely actress out of Colin, because I'm a Colin watcher.
Oh, right.
And she was very good in Coronation Street, so that's going to be interesting.
This is the one that's been announced this morning, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's companion, yeah, so if you've not seen that, have a look. Next question? Where are we?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
I was just wondering if there were any outtakes left out of the 5 Doctor reboot.
Were there any outtakes? There probably were.
Yeah.
When you messed it up. You know, all those times you got it wrong.
Oh no, they were all the funniest and best and most best bits. Yeah, when I messed it up. It was quite a few years ago, and I can't quite remember any, because we did it bits and pieces throughout the year, didn't we? I mean, I remember I had to give up breakfast in Paris to come back and do a thing, because Paul McGann, it was the only morning he could do out of months and things like that. That's all I remember. So he owes me a breakfast in Paris.
Yeah, I suppose there were, but the only person who will know is Peter Davis.
Yeah, because he...
You have to ask him, you'll have them, if there are any.
He's here tomorrow. Are you here tomorrow? Yeah.
Ask Peter.
Was Tom asked to get... No, he's not here.
No, he's not here tomorrow.
Sorry. Someone else is.
Was Tom asked to be involved? Did he kind of pull out because he was involved in kind of the main episode, or was he going to
Tom's a law unto himself. Tom was asked by Peter, and
he did say yes.
He said yes, and then he didn't do it.
And then we discovered by accident why. Do you remember we were filming down in Cardiff, and this young lady came down with the script of Matt's last story and asked us to sign it. And Tom Baker had already signed it. So we knew that he was down there filming, and he was in that one, or the 50th one, or whatever it was.
Yeah. That's right, I forgot that.
Yeah.
Okay, next question? Yeah, where's my brother? There we go.
Ooh, I love those boots on leg warmers.
Those boots.
Are they good?
Hi, so obviously at the end of the Five-ish Doctors reboot, you all snubbed Russell T Davies when he moved you to try and get involved with the sneaking onto the set. Obviously since then, he has reclaimed control of the programme. Do you see yourselves having to eventually sneak back onto the set in a potential sequel to the Five-ish Doctors reboot next year?
I do.
Yeah, we'd like to, but I'm not, Peter, the problem is, you see, we did that with one of the best casts Doctor Who's ever had, and they all did it for nothing. We did it for the fans, really. So it would be very difficult to repeat that and ask people to do it again for nothing. So I mean, there was chat of maybe trying to do crowdfunding to raise it to do the, you know, I mean, I don't know, Five-ish Doctors reboot or whatever.
I mean, I speak for myself. We'd probably do it for nothing.
Yeah.
But you can't get all the crew to turn up and do it for nothing again.
Yeah.
And all the other people involved in doing it. Peter drove that. Peter's already wrote the script on which it was based. we added our own little bits.
Yeah, we can.
But it was Peter's baby. And it was a brilliant idea. But it would have to be an idea that was as good, if not better, preferably better. A follow-up that is better than the original is worth doing. One that isn't. Yeah, exactly. So it would depend on so many things. But I know Peter hasn't ruled it out. And I think Russell would be the ideal producer to be at the helm if we were doing something like that, because I know he would help.
It's a big finish.
Oh, everything.
Yeah. Wonderful.
I mean, certainly for me, it pulled my doctor out of being slightly, I would say, undervalued, but certainly dismissed by some. And the story arc that I had in mind when I was playing it, and was rudely interrupted by a certain Scots gypsy rover who inhabited my costume illegally, and I still don't have the rent from it.
Aye, well, you know, it's a bit of mould down by the crutch. Got away that
All together now.
All together now.
What was the question? Oh, Big Finish. Yeah, Big Finish gave me the opportunity to take Old 60 on a longer voyage, and one that I've never regretted starting, because the scripts are unfailingly as good or better in most cases than anything I ever did on television. And the amount of time they spend on post-production. I listened to, on my way on a journey 2 days ago, I listened to the first story of the Hebe, and I listened to the Hebe stories with my doctor on Big Finish. Ooh, wave of apathy here. But I listened to the first 4 episodes. I thought it was splendid. I mean, my own contribution is irrelevant, but the storytelling and the production values are phenomenal. And I'm lucky to ride that beast into the future.
I mean, again, it's the fans we have to thank for Big Finish, because when I had stopped, Colin and I and Sophie at various times were asked by fans to go and do audio recordings on tape, and we'd record in basements and in toilets because the sound was good. And so we kind of carried on doing audio. I think you did as well, didn't you? And then out of that grew Big Finish, because Gary Russell, he was a big fan of Doctor Who, and Gary was, you know, he was a great fan, and he was a businessman. So they got together and kind of, you know, made it into a very workable business, and it's the fans that have kept it going. And it's the fans that have kept it going on television as well. Because Russell T Davies is a great fan, and Stephen Moffat was a great fan, or is a great fan. Yeah, the fans. Thank you. You're to blame.
You mentioned briefly about post-production. With the news that Disney Plus is going to show Doctor Who in other countries, and like bumping up the budget for each episode, what are your opinions on that?
Jealousy.
Yeah, absolutely.
The budgets are already significant, even taking into account the passage of time, higher than we ever had.
Exactly.
And what you can do now, you know, the simple addition of a drone, which didn't exist when we were filming, to make spectacular shots that would have cost a fortune when we were doing it. We're a bit like the footballers of 30 years ago, who struggled on muddy pitches and inadequate compensation.
And won the World Cup.
Yeah. And then 40 years later, they're all millionaires and they're all moaning.
Yeah. We're not talking about the doctors.
The footballers.
He is really good, isn't he? But I don't want to know.
Next question? Okay. Right over the far side.
Hello. Who's your favourite Doctor, and who's your favourite monster as well from the show?
Well, there's the question you never get asked.
Yeah.
My favourite Doctor?
Patrick.
Patrick. Well, I've got 2 favourites.
All right.
I've got Patrick, because we share this opinion that he did the first job, to make it possible for the rest of us to be here today. If he hadn't been a brilliant second Doctor, there wouldn't have been a third, fourth, fifth, 23rd, 24th, 25th. That wouldn't have happened. So and he was a good actor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was a character actor. And Jodie. I like Jodie because she's a girl.
Yeah.
I like girls.
So do I. Bring back Jodie.
You're all right.
Well, I wear a kilt sometimes. In the First World War, the Germans used to, they were terrified of the Scots because they wore kilts and they were led by bagpipes. They used to call the ladies from hell. So I'm proud to be a lady from hell.
And it would be wrong in a way to leave out Chris Eccleston.
Yeah.
Because
yes,
just as it wouldn't have kept going if it weren't for Patra, it wouldn't have started again if it hadn't been for Christopher Eccleston. And I loved his Doctor.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And his companion.
Next question. Before we all go down the Billy Piper route.
Right over the past side. With Russell being back, Ncuti Gatwa is the next Doctor, and Millie Gibson is the next companion, how do you view the future of the show?
Well, I think it's great. I think so. Russell, as far as I'm concerned, could do no wrong. Everything he touches turns to gold, and he saved Doctor Who from oblivion. So yeah, I'm thinking he's going to, and I think he's very canny to bring back David just for 3. I think that's a canny move, because everybody goes, oh, how exciting, and then hand it over to Ncuti. Good.
What you said, he's a genius.
Yeah.
He's an absolute genius, and it's the future is as secure as you and people like Russell choose to make it. It's between you all. If you keep watching, and with Disney involved now, I would say you've got another 10 years guaranteed. It'll be wonderful. And I don't think, from what I've gleaned so far, that the Disney element is going to have an effect on it that you guys wouldn't like. I think they're canny enough to know what it is about Doctor Who that makes it work. So it won't get Disneyfied in the wrong way, I think, anyway.
When you wish upon a star, you'll be on a TARDIS and from the earth very far. Thank you. My age.
We're off to see the Doctor.
The wonderful Doctor in Oz.
Just before we finish off then, what are you both up to next?
5'2" and shrinking.
And a bit, yeah.
6 foot and shrinking. What I'm currently doing, I mentioned earlier, and when that finishes, I've got a couple of films that I'm going to be doing, not major roles, but in the imminent future, and more Big Finish for the time being.
Yes, I'm doing some Big Finish too. I'm off to Chicago for a Doctor Who convention next weekend, and I'm at the moment in America in a thing called The Monsters, which was directed by Rob Zombie. People know Rob Zombie here? For those that don't, Rob Zombie is a heavy metal god. In fact, when I flew to Hungary to do this film, he was #1 on the American Billboard, so he's still huge, I didn't know anything about him, so I phoned my son and said, Rob Zombie's asked me to be in the film. He said, Dad, you're going to do it. He does these amazing horror movies, he's cult, you must do it. So I did it for my son. So off I set, having watched Rob Zombie's, one of his shows, mad, wild, heavy metal man. I go to Hungary, to Budapest, and say, where is Rob Zombie? And I was so disappointed, because I was expecting a coke-sniffing, television throwing out of hotel window madman. Turns out he was a vegan. He was a really sweet, nice man. And I was so disappointed. I wanted madness. So I had to give them madness. I threw my television out the window.
I once sat at an American convention next to Alice Cooper.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And I've always adored Alice Cooper. And he turned out to be the kind of bloke you want to live next door to.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he was really nice and friendly and very, very funny about his persona,
Yeah.
which is an act.
Yeah.
It's all acting.
I know.
And he was a really nice, funny, gentle man. So maybe all heavy metal rockers are gentle people.
They're all vegans.
And on that bombshell, we have run out of time, so show your appreciation once more for Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy.